Shall we store your weapons at the villa, as usual?
Are you sure? What makes you think you can win a battle of words against Lurko?
Certainly, but keep in mind he has enough evidence to condemn all of us as well. Even if we can destroy him and get him exiled, it may well cost us our own lives. Are you ready to pay that price?
You would question our resolve. Of course we will follow you, like we have followed you until now.
Slow down. What if I don't want to be part of a potential murder trial?
Does that mean you will not come with us?
All I'm saying is I would like to at least be asked.
We have faced many battles together. But it takes real courage to face sudden death.
There is no need for this kind of doom and gloom. We can convince the Senate. Let us not base all our plans on the worst possible outcome.
This is the right thing to do. The gods shall favor us. Are you with us, Calada?
Of course I am.
It seems you have reached a decision. Very well. For a moment I had my doubts about you. For that I apologize.
Right. Let's go celebrate that we all made it back alive. First round is on me.
Remember what Domina used to say? An empty stomach breeds an empty mind. And you will need your mind. Our upcoming battle cannot be won with a blade. So do I. One wonders, could we have done more to prevent her demise? But cheating fate is no trivial task. Well, it is best not to dwell in the past. It has taken much to get here, and we have achieved many great things. It was a pleasure watching you grow and become the great commander you are. What will you do after everything is said and done? Precisely. We can't afford to underestimate our opponent at this stage.
Kikuro and I will meet you in the Senate tomorrow morning to prepare for the trial.
Speak as if your life depends on it. In many ways, it may.
Speaking of that trial...
It's so good to see you again. And looking well. I've been well. The children are growing so fast, you probably won't even recognize them.
Having children has completely changed my perspective. It's incredible how your priorities shift.
Tiberius would like to tell you about something important.
Indeed. I would like to testify on your behalf tomorrow, at the trial. Against my brother. We are already in a great deal of danger. My brother is becoming completely unhinged lately.
He's out of control. I genuinely fear he may have our own children killed, because they carry your blood.
If you allow me to comment, your testimony will be an incredible boon for our trial tomorrow. Thank you.
My path to atonement will be a long one, but this will be a big first step on the way.
We must return home, before Lurko catches wind who we are visiting.
I'll see you tomorrow at the trial. Good luck.
You should get some rest. Tomorrow's trial will require you to have your wits about you. Those who try to predict the future will only make a laughing stock of themselves. Those who are prepared for all eventualities win in the end. It was not only my duty, but my pleasure as well. Your father made me promise to take care of you, no matter what. Looking at you now, I can only feel pride. I just wish your father were alive to see these days. I've been through much, but I have to admit, these days I feel old. I think I want to see my homeland again. To tell you the truth, I feel like I'm ready to die. It would be nice to see Halicarnassos again first. Thank you.
It is a good day, my friend. I've been thinking. You've done the right thing by not crossing the Rubicon with the Legion. It's the right choice. You'll see. Callida was a bit preoccupied. She's concerned about Corvinus. You know that sneaky bastard is still unaccounted for. They won't. The Senate is a virtuous and wise institution. They'll see the truth of the matter. Cicero is probably the best advocate in the Republic, and he's the consul. But what do I know? I'm just a soldier. I hope you're right.
What's on your mind? Your cause is just, and I believe we can convince the Senate. However, our opponent is devious. That worries me. I worry that he will not obey the will of the Senate if the result fails to be in his favor. Will you obey the Senate if you lose? A rhetorical one. I knew you would give that answer. If it were not, our republic would be doomed. Those with the greatest power must be under the most exacting scrutiny. But to answer the question in the spirit I think it was asked, we have Cicero on our side, the second consul. This sort of situation is precisely why there are two.
We will have order in the Senate now! Debating the clarity of the augury will not be productive. The consul himself stands accused. Nothing could be of higher importance. Any other relationes shall be set aside. The result of this relatio again shall be decided per discessionem, and before the sun sets. You may continue, consul, but please, refrain from delving deeper into matters completely unrelated to our discussion.
Naturally. May I restate the necessity of using my actual title, Dictator, instead of Consul? Do you even know what Dictator in Perpetuo means?
The Legatus has a point. Your title was granted for a limited time in order to solve a crisis. Even though the time has not passed, we can certainly say the crisis exists no more.
I beg to differ. The crisis has evidently not passed. It has merely changed context. Allow my colleague Senator Antonius to display with clarity how unprecedented and absurd this relatio is.
Dear Senators, first let us consider the source and the spirit of the regulation that allows us to appoint a consul to the position of dictator. And yet, despite all this, we somehow ended up here accusing the very man who was tasked with the prevention of this crisis.
Thank you, Senator, for this detailed and above all long explanation of something we all knew. Our memories have been thoroughly refreshed. If that will be all, we will finally discuss the evidence presented against the Consul. Let us consider the events leading to the capture of Marcus Aurelius Cotta. Is it true that you were collaborating with Mithridates Megas?
Rumors. Nothing but rumors. Maliciously circulated by my enemies. The enemies of the state. I hope you remember that there was absolutely nothing to suggest those rumors had any basis in fact. My fellow consul, honorable senators, are we here to gossip like housewives or to discuss proper matters of state?
Indeed. And I do believe I have credibility here.
You.
I know you must be surprised. And I'm sure when I give a detailed account of your business relationships with Mithridates, our fellow senators will be equally surprised.
I always knew you were jealous of me, Tiberius. But I never thought you'd be foolish enough to testify against me in this manufactured case. If the Senate finds me guilty, you will receive the same sentence.
After everything my family has done to yours, you are a truly generous person. But I still have a few choice words about my brother.
Illuminating.
Are you truly illuminated by a madman's ravings? Tiberius may be my brother, but his envy of my position is well known. He hardly qualifies as an impartial witness.
Can any witness be truly impartial? Shall we perhaps talk about the infamous invasion of Egypt?
Infamous is the correct word for it. The Legatus ignited a war in a land that was already a province of Rome. He brought chaos and terror to Africa.
The way I see it, he installed law and order, and saw to it that the rightful queen of the people now sits on the throne.
I must protest. This is highly unusual, having a foreign ruler comment on our internal affairs.
I must agree. The Queen's opinions on this matter should be of utmost importance. We're listening, Queen Cleopatra.
Of course you are. Now I shall tell you how your dictator redirected taxes paid by our people into his coffers, and how he managed to get both his accountant and proconsul murdered in the process.
A chilling account, Your Majesty. Thank you for your testimony.
Once more, I must direct your attention to the utter lack of credible witnesses. Neither this legendary ledger nor the fictional accountant who wrote it are anywhere to be seen.
Then explain your presence in Alexandria, at the time of the battle. Why would Ptolemy, who at the time was waging war against Rome, be on friendly terms with you?
I was trying to clean up the diplomatic mess created by your legatus.
Interesting how you just tried to cast the legatus as a foe. He was, of course, serving Rome at the time, and his campaign was declared bellum justum et pium by the Fetiales. Let us end by discussing the recent campaign against the barbarians of Gallia. You did kill members of the dictator's Praetorian Guard, didn't you, Legate?
I suppose that means you have the authority to condemn and execute criminals on behalf of the people of Rome. I wonder why we have to bother with this hearing, then.
The authority of the Senate in these matters is absolute. Surely the legatus misspoke.
You seem to give my accuser a very vast benefit of the doubt, Consul. When someone tells you they have committed a crime, you ought to take them at their word.
Perhaps.
I see Senator Antonius has something to add.
Oh, right. I thank you for this opportunity to talk about the history of foreign leaders being represented at the Senate. First of all,
once again, thank you for your detailed explanation of this important issue, Senator. Shall we finally proceed to decide now?
We certainly shall not. The sun has set and a decision was not reached. I believe this relatio is to be declared undecided.
Dictator Lurco is correct, Legate. A decision has to be reached by sunset. And if not, the relatio will be undecided. But in light of the overwhelming and damning evidence against the dictator, I believe this relatio deserves a proper decision. We reconvene tomorrow at sunrise for the final decision. This shall give the dictator a fair chance to defend himself. One final time. This session is at an end.
Let's wait until everyone has left, so we can talk to Kikoro in private.